My beloved child, you've been carrying this weight for so long, it's become a part of you. Like a shadow that never leaves, a pressure pressing silently against your chest, tension etched into your jaw, and a tiredness that no amount of sleep can seem to touch. The burden of all the what-ifs, the regrets, the endless to-do lists has crept deep into your soul, so deep, you sometimes forget what it feels like to simply breathe freely. Yet even as you move through each day, doing what must be done, there is a whisper rising within you, a holy whisper that gently says, "This isn't how it's meant to be." That voice, my child, is me. And I'm not here to scold you. I'm not disappointed in your weariness. I am gently calling you closer. I'm inviting you to stop holding it all together. To lay down what was never yours to carry alone. I created your soul for peace, not pressure. You were never meant to be the one who carries the whole world on your shoulders, who must fix everything, protect everyone, or predict every outcome. That's why the anxiety weighs so heavy on you. It's the evidence that you're gripping things I've been asking you to release. If these words speak to your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There are many more messages waiting to lift your spirit. I understand why you hold on. I know you've been hurt. You've been let down. Life surprised you with storms you never saw coming. And somewhere along the way, you began to believe that control equals safety. But control, my child, is only an illusion, fragile, fleeting. And you are not fragile. You are strong. But your real strength doesn't lie in your tight grip, it lives in your brave surrender. Letting go isn't weakness. It's not passive. It's one of the boldest acts of trust. It's you standing in the storm and saying, "God, I believe you are good, even when I don't understand." It's placing your dreams, your fears, your pain raw and real into my hands. Hands that never drop what matters most to you. Hands that never forget, never overlook, never fumble. Don't you see? Everything that has touched your heart has touched mine first. I am not distant from your burdens. I ache with you. I long to lift them off your shoulders. I'm not waiting for you to be strong enough, I'm waiting for your yes. Your yes to rest. Your yes to release. Your yes to trust. Let go of the fear that insists you're alone. Let go of the lie that everything depends on you. Let go of the shame that whispers you're not enough. Because when you open your hands, I fill them. Not with empty promises, but with peace. My peace. My presence. My power. And in that space where burdens once lived, I will pour something better, rest for your soul. Maybe you're afraid to try. Maybe you've let go before and it felt like nothing changed. Maybe you've mistaken surrender for silence, and you assumed I wasn't there. But I've been there in the quiet, waiting. I do not always shout in thunder, but I never stop speaking. Every breath that turns into a prayer, every tear that falls while your heart clings to me, all of it echoes in eternity. Nothing is wasted. It is these moments that build an unshakable faith. Remember Peter? When he stepped out of the boat, the storm didn't stop. In fact, it roared even louder. But as long as his eyes were on me, he walked above the waves. It was only when he looked away, when he feared the storm, that he began to sink. Not because the waves overpowered him, but because he forgot who I am. And I am still the same. Still calling you to walk by faith. Still reaching for you the moment fear grips your heart. Still offering peace, not when the storm is over but right in the middle of it. This letting go I ask of you is not a demand. It is an invitation. Come and place what's heavy into my hands. Come and sit with me. Tell me what keeps you awake at night. Don't wait until it's polished. Don't wait until you can explain it. Bring it raw. Bring it real. I already know. And I already care. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the doorway to deeper connection with me. And in that sacred place of honesty, I will meet you with more love than you've ever dared to hope for. This, beloved, is where peace begins, not when the storm is over, but when you realize that I am in the boat with you. You don't need to fix it all. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Willing to say yes. Yes to me. Yes to peace. Yes to a new way. So exhale, my child. Open your hands. Let it go. And watch what I will do next. My beloved, I see you in this moment, your mind looping, analyzing every detail, trying so hard to protect yourself from what might come next. You've convinced yourself that this is wisdom, that worry is responsible, that rehearsing every possible outcome is just being prepared. But worry, my child, is not wisdom. Worry is a weight, a silent flood that drowns your discernment and stifles your peace. And I did not create you to drown, I created you to live. To breathe deeply. To walk freely in the garden of my grace. You've been carrying burdens I never asked you to bear. Worry is not your cross, it is a signal. A sign that your soul has started to lean on its own understanding, to trust control more than surrender. But hear me clearly, you are not safer when you grip tightly to the reins. You are safest when your hands are open and your heart trusts mine. What if you truly knew that I am already present in your future? That I'm not only walking beside you now, but also waiting in every tomorrow, already weaving goodness from what hasn't even touched your life yet. That's not wishful thinking. That's faith. I see beyond time. I know every step you'll take and every need you'll face. And everything I allow, everything I withhold, is crafted with care, not to harm you, never to harm you but to make you whole. You long for certainty, but I long for connection. The goal has never been perfect plans, it's always been perfect love. That connection deepens not when you bring me polished prayers and strategic goals, but when you come trembling, raw, and honest. I want you, not a performance of you. You cannot wear a mask I don't already see through, and there is no shame I can't shatter with one word, mine. You are mine. Yes, you want to be strong. You want to be the one others can lean on. But even the strongest trees must bend. Even the most solid ground erodes when it's never allowed to rest. My strength is not something you earn, it's something I lend. Freely. Generously. I never asked you to be strong alone. I only said, come to me. Letting go means daring to believe that I'm better at being God than you are. That I am not just the one with a plan, I am the plan. The provider. The protector. The peace that passes all understanding. I don't need your constant vigilance to fulfill my promises. I just need your yes. Your trust isn't a test, it's a gift I long to give you. It's the only door to peace that truly lasts. When you grip tightly, you lose your rest. But when you let go, grace sweeps in and carries you farther than your striving ever could. I know you've asked me, why now, why this, how long? I've heard every cry, every whispered plea under your tears. And while I may not always explain my timing, I will always reveal my heart. And my heart is always, only, for you. Even when the answer is, wait. Even when it's, no. Even in silence. I'm not ignoring you, I'm preparing you. Because sometimes healing begins where your ability to fix it ends. You weren't meant to just survive this season. You were meant to be transformed by it, to be made softer, bolder, kinder, and stronger in all the ways that last. And that kind of transformation comes not from clenching your fists and pushing through, but from releasing your grip and letting me work, not in spite of the pain, but right through it. So I ask you, again, what are you still gripping? What fear, what outcome, what version of life are you holding so tightly it's hurting you? Whatever it is, I already see it. I already hold it. And I'm waiting, not with frustration, but with compassion. My arms are open not to expose, but to restore. Let it go. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you matter more. This isn't the end. It's a beginning. The moment you stop striving to be everything and start trusting the one who already is. You are not alone. I've never left your side. Even here, even now, I am closer than your breath. Will you let me in? Will you place what's heavy into my hands and rest in the truth that you were never meant to carry it alone? There is a deep longing within you to be known without explanation, to be held without performance, to be loved without fear of rejection. That longing came from me. I placed it inside you not as weakness, but as a sacred compass pointing you home. When you try to fill it with control or perfection, you're left depleted. Because only communion with me can satisfy that ache. You weren't made to carry burdens that steal your sleep and silence your joy. You were made for a life where your soul breathes freely. That's why I call you again and again to let go. Because I know what freedom feels like and I want you to know it too. Fear wears many disguises. It often sounds wise, logical, even noble. But beneath the mask is anxiety that won't let go. That's not how I lead you. I never push with pressure, I draw you with peace. My voice doesn't come with chaos. It doesn't provoke panic. Even when I speak hard truths, they're wrapped in love and lined with hope. So pause. Ask yourself, is this voice from me or from fear pretending to be wisdom? I will never lead you into exhaustion. I may walk you through difficulty, yes, but never without grace, never without purpose. Every valley has a door. Every wilderness has a stream. Even in your darkest night, I have placed stars. But you'll only see them when you look up. That's what letting go really is, not giving up, but looking up. Not walking away, but walking with me. And as you do, the fog starts to lift. Not because your situation changed but because you did. When you let go, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop spiraling and start settling. And in that stillness, you begin to hear my voice, not shouting over the chaos, but speaking beneath it. My voice has always been there beneath the noise, beneath the fear, calling you by name. You were made to hear me. You were created to move in rhythm with my spirit. But fear disrupts the melody. Worry scrambles the signal. Surrender tunes you back in. I don't need you to do this perfectly. I want participation, not performance. I want you, your trembling, messy, unsure self. Bring me your truth, not your edits. Sit with me. I already see you. I saw your heartbreak. I saw your silent tears and your whispered hopes. I've never looked away. And I never will. Let me rewrite the story. Let me speak louder than the lies that tell you you're not enough. Let me silence fear by reclaiming your trust. This is how your identity shifts from one who survives to one who is healed, from one who strives to one who is secure. And yes, letting go won't always feel immediate. Sometimes it's daily. Sometimes breath by breath. Sometimes 1,000 surrenders in 1 hour. But each time you choose trust over fear, peace expands. And in every surrender, your spirit rises lighter, freer, stronger in truth. I will honor every "I trust you" whispered through tears. I will meet you there, I always do. So rest, not because the storm has passed, but because you're no longer standing alone in it. Rest not because you know the outcome, but because you know me. Rest not because everything is resolved, but because your soul is no longer enslaved to needing resolution. You are mine. And because you are mine, you are safe. Even here. Even now. I rejoice every single time you come to me. Every time you turn your heart toward me instead of fear, I smile. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, your journey toward trust is beautiful to me. Not because it's flawless, but because it's yours. Deeply personal. Divinely designed. Fully wrapped in my grace. You're not the same person you were when you first whispered, "I think I need to let go." Something inside you has shifted. You're beginning to see my faithfulness, not just in hindsight but while it's still unfolding. You're starting to believe that I'm not only present, I'm deeply invested. That I'm not just sovereign, I'm intimate. That I'm not just mighty, I'm gentle. And that truth is changing everything. Because once you begin to truly see me for who I am, surrender doesn't feel forced, it feels like relief. You start letting go not out of duty, but because my nearness is more secure than your best strategy. My presence becomes sweeter than the illusion of control. And now, letting go has become more than personal. It's powerful. It's changing the atmosphere around you. Your relationships carry more lightness. Your conversations feel more honest. Your thoughts aren't racing, they're anchored. Your heart, once clenched, now has room. Room to breathe. To feel. To receive. You're reacting less. You're listening more. That's the fruit of surrender. Peace not only for your own soul but peace that overflows. The kind of peace that makes others pause and wonder. They may not know what it is, but they sense it. You carry something now, not pressure, not perfection, but presence. My presence. And now, even your pain looks different. You no longer see your disappointments as proof that I was absent, but as proof that I was carrying you the whole time. You're starting to see your wounds not as weaknesses, but as windows through which my glory can shine. You're learning that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting me fill the empty places with something greater than closure. Communion. Togetherness. You're understanding that what was meant for harm has been folded into a greater story. A redemptive, beautiful, powerful story. Where hope doesn't just survive, it sings. And now, you hope again. Not a fragile hope held together by optimism, but a living, breathing, grounded hope born from my faithfulness. This hope gives you the courage to love again, to believe again, to dream not just for yourself, but for others. You've been comforted so you can now comfort. You've been filled so now you can pour. This is the paradox of letting go. It doesn't lead to emptiness. It opens the way for abundance. Not the kind the world offers, but the kind that flows only from me. You're no longer holding tight to everything. And now your hands are free. Free to receive. Free to create. Free to bless and to heal. You weren't created to live behind walls. You were made to be a vessel through which my love flows. And that's who you're becoming. Not just surviving, truly living. Not just coping, flourishing. Not just holding it together, you're being held. This is the fruit of trust. And this is only the beginning. So keep walking. Keep releasing. Keep trusting. Because the more you let go, the more you discover, you've never truly lost anything. You've only made space for what matters most. Now we come to the sacred threshold. The place where your surrender meets the fullness of my embrace. You've walked through fire, fog, fear, and loss. But you kept moving. Your spirit kept trusting. And I kept guiding quietly, faithfully, always. You didn't always see the path under your feet. But you kept walking. And I made the way. I always do. This is what it looks like when a soul begins to truly rest in me. Not in doing. Not in controlling, but in communion. Letting go was never about defeat. It was about restoration. I didn't ask you to release things so you'd feel empty. I asked so I could fill you with something better. And now your heartbeat is different. Less panic. More peace. Less urgency. More clarity. Less fear. More faith. You've tasted what it means to be known. And now you're learning what it means to be free. My promises are not vague. They are not someday far off. They are present. Personal. True. The walls are falling. Walls you didn't even realize were there. Walls of control, of fear, of trying to keep it all together. Now there's space. And I will fill that space. With joy. With strength. With wisdom. With hope. This is the inheritance of those who trust me. Not a perfect life, but a life anchored in truth. A life wrapped in my voice, my delight, my love. You are the one I chose. The one I've been shaping. The one I sing over still. Even in the dark. So as you move forward, don't expect perfection. But expect my presence. You may still wrestle. But you will not unravel. You may still have questions. But they won't take your peace, because now you know how to find me. Not in control. Not in certainty. But in stillness. In surrender. You've learned the sacred rhythm of letting go. And it will carry you forward. Letting go was the gateway. Trust is the path. But love, that's your destination. To live loved. To speak, serve, rest, and rise. All from the place of being fully known, fully held. That's the life I've always intended for you. That's the inheritance no one can take. So breathe deep now. This is not the end. This is a beginning. A new chapter. Written in freedom. Led by faith. Saturated in grace. You are stepping into a life not ruled by fear. But ruled by peace. Not defined by what was, but expanded by what is and what will be. You are ready. Not because you feel ready, but because I say so. You have what you need. Not because you've prepared perfectly, but because I go with you. And wherever you go, I go too. Leading. Guiding. Loving. Holding. You have let go. And now, child of mine, you are held. Amen. If this message spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone else who needs to be reminded that they too can let go. And be held. Let this truth echo beyond you. And bring peace to someone else's storm.